So this is a race conference, I think one of the best in Europe. So I was thinking, how about the writing a race application? Uh, I did some workshops recently, so I had a lot of bootstrapping. Like, you know, every second day I had to bootstrap new race application. Of course, there are scripts for that, but there are some things I learned. Does this thing work? Awesome. So yet another Ruby on Rails application in X minutes and N easy steps. So let's just set X to 15 minutes and see how far the steps we get. The app is very simple. It's just a simple clap bouncer app. You know the guy that doesn't let you into the pub. Well, I know the guy. Anyways, so the guy is always saying, you know, those are too sporty shoes. You can't go in. So this is this kind of app, like Facebook events, and not invited people can only see that there is an event, and then they don't get to see who's coming and where is it. So user can create a party. User can log in with Facebook. He can create a party, invite other users, and invited users can see party details and see the guests list. Not invited users can log in and see the party, but no details and no other participants for them. And we will try to deploy that to Heroku. So, easy app, race, that's obvious. That's easy to Google. Yeah, we are setting the DB, we are migrating, we are creating the DB, firing up the server, it works, awesome. Yeah, scaffold, useful thing. Apparently, every new race application now needs to be in Bootstrap. Like the default layout has to be Bootstrap, so let's use that. Let's generate some scaffolds, make them look pretty, migrate again, and again. Awesome. So we have users. The users cannot log in yet, so you Google how do you log in user with Facebook. The Omni out is supposedly the best solution, so just add some columns to your, add the gems to game file, add some columns to your user table, add some rows, and it works. Awesome. Authentication, you need something in your user model to create the user from the Omni out data, so yeah, this is the method, the default one that they will suggest you. Awesome again. You also need to do some stuff in sessions controller. So what we are doing here is we basically are fetching the info OmniOut send us. If we find the user, then that's okay, we can log him in. Otherwise, we create the user, and again, there is even a bit of security here. We reset the session so they can't do the session fixation thing. Yeah, security in race. Awesome. Awesome again. And to finish this off, we will set our current user in the application controller so we can use that everywhere, and add a method to check whether we are logged in or not. Awesome again. See the results? Oh. Okay. Let's see what went wrong. Yeah, that was actually easy. I forgot to migrate, and the methods that you are setting that are your helpers, you supposedly have to say that they are helper methods. Okay, works. Awesome. Parties. We assume that user will have parties, and he will be able to invite users, other users to the parties. So let's create the parties. Migrate that. We now know that we have to migrate every time we do something. So yeah, and again, some nice scaffolds for the parties. That sucks. When you go to see that, it looks like the user was treated as a string. So you cannot create the party unless you somehow manage to serialize the user object to the string yourself. So let's fix that. That's easy. Just change the field to the select. And, well, yeah, almost because the user are still not displayed correctly. Google again, Stack Overflow, etc., etc. Easy fix. That's awesome. Time's up. This went fast here because I trained this couple of times, but in the reality, I was Googling all over the place to find the solutions that are default right now in race community. So time's up. We managed to do 16 steps, so like 16 actions. I guess that's good. Let's see what we got. We have a working application. Fine. The external provider login, that's working, so that's good. And users can create parties with description. That's okay. They can create parties for other users, so the system is not usable, but anyways, in 15 minutes, come on, that's okay. It took about another 16 minutes to finish this with the raceway thing, following the guides, following what we find in Google. So total 75 minutes. Thank you, Mr. President. It looks like it's not bad. In 75 minutes, a working application that makes people miserable because they can't see the party details? Come on, that's good. That's awesome. Can you say that with me? Can you say that Raceway is awesome? Come on 3, 2, 1. No. Did you just get excited about scaffolds? Yeah. Few things went wrong, and we're gonna now see what went wrong in the, well, to be honest, I cheated a little bit. I only showed you what I did in 15 minutes. You didn't show the part, like the following hour. What was wrong? I was a bit slow at this, which was a surprising realization that I cannot, like, I'm not good at doing race scaffolds. I'm not sure if that's like a skill you really need. But I was not good at it, so I got better after a few times. Not sure if this is anyhow connected to the problem. Maybe that's just me. There were a few errors on the way. You saw one. There were more of them. And toward the end, there were more and more errors. Tests. That was surprisingly tricky. Do the tests as the guides tell you to do. So, few things that were tricky. This is a tricky part of code. I copied this from Stack Overflow, but it's tricky. I marked the tricky parts for you. So in your test, you have to have the environment, which is not something that you have by default in tests, or you do, and I broke something. The part where you get the user, that's actually two totally different workflows. One is creating and one is finding. And the part that is finding is in your controller, and the part that is creating is in your model. So you cannot treat them equally in your test, which is sad because they're sort of equal things, or at least similar flows. And whatever you put as a step in your user has always to respond to ID. That's not a real problem, but that's something that I found. That was one thing I did later in the following 16 minutes. I was sending invites to the party. What party can go on without invites, right? And I didn't want to send them all the time. I wanted the inviter to be able to send sort of a batch invite. So when inviter is inviting, you don't send the invite, which is easy to do, but this fires all the time. So you have a dependency in your test, which is, you know, it's hard to follow with that, and your user in your test, you're testing totally different thing with the user, and he's sending an email. Okay, yeah, the validation on invite was firing all the time, which was a little bit tricky. I was trying to make sure my users don't invite themselves to the party, so you know, like they don't feel, so they're like, they don't end up forever alone on their own parties because they couldn't get anywhere else. So yeah, and this was firing all the time. So actually caring about my users was tricky in the tests. This thing has issues. Come on. It looks like the whole raceway thing has some issues, and it's not that good. The code was coupled, so it was hard to maintain further. It was hard to develop in the first place. It was hard to read, for instance, the controller part. And the tests were tricky. So there are some issues. Come on. It's 2014, we know Raceway has issues. We know that already. I know you know that, and that's actually not the point of the presentation. We had fun, but that's not the point. Actually, we knew that 7 years ago. This is a guy, Gosh. The Gosh, it's actually under the article which is comparing Java and Java solutions to Race. I found this by accident, but I think it's okay to share it. The Java guy 7 years ago told us we have issues, and we didn't listen. We didn't. So we know this, and we could have known this for 7 years now. But this is a code climate score from a 3 years old project, which we maintain at work. It's getting better. But when we took over, it was 3 years old, and the score was around 2. So if you don't use code climate, anything below 3 is not good. You don't want to go below 3.5, but anything below 3 is basically worrying. So this is 3 years old project. We took over, and it looks like this. This project has 9 months, and it's 1.5. And the red number on the right is the issues number, the security issues they detected with the standard code security analysis. So, and we took over that project too. And it's now getting better and better. This is true, this is not fake. So what we got here is a project that has only 6 weeks. And the score is that low. They managed to push it to 1. I didn't really thought that this is possible. Something's going on. And yeah, so what we really have is an X minutes Ruby on Rails legacy application in n easy steps. And that's not good. But what can you do about this? The truth is that Raceway is awesome, and the core team of Race did the right thing to construct Race as they did. It's awesome for startups. If I was able to pull out together like this app that actually did something meaningful in 75 minutes, then give me 2 days, and yeah, so we can figure like real things in such a fast time. That's awesome. That's for business. This is the best thing you can have. It's awesome for beginners. I was only using the stuff I found on Google, and it worked. It was a little bit tricky. I ignored all the things I knew before, but it worked. And this is my personal opinion. Like, I think the only one in the whole presentation, except for the hate for party bouncers. For me, Race is a good foundation for the framework you need. Nobody is going to provide a framework for you for your application. Every case, every application is very specific. So there is no real solution out there, and you have to figure it out yourself. And the solution is actually going to be your framework, because every other person that will come after you will see how you wrote this code and probably mimic you, because they think that not changing things or doing the things in the same style is going not to break the project, with this strange line of thinking, but we all do that. So whatever you do, they will follow. And Race is a good foundation for creating your own set of rules that other programmers will follow in your application. That's my opinion. And it's working. It really is. And we are failing. And to prove why we are failing and Raceway is okay, I prepared this complicated graph. So right now I really need you to focus, because it took weeks to put this together. This is our structure. This is how our community looks like. And you are there, the black thing in the top. And the whole triangle, those are all the people involved in the community right now. And you know, you are here, you're the most awesome people in the community because you went to this conference. But a lot of us didn't. Think of the people that are at home. Like they didn't get the ticket, or they didn't even bother to try to get the ticket because they don't care. And I don't have a solution for that because there's a lot of people out there, and what they are doing right now is we are enjoying ourselves, and they are writing another legacy applications for us to maintain. And yeah, but you do have a solution for me. You can teach them all. You can do a talk at your Rocker Ruby user group. You can do a talk at a conference, even if you don't know how to build up with Rails. You can organize workshops, and that's a very good thing to do. You can just talk to the newcomers, and you like care about them and share your knowledge because they don't have it. They stayed at home instead of going here or any other conference. And you can tell them that the cake was a lie. That is not true. You cannot maintain an application with Raceway. That's not possible. They don't know it yet, so they will create another legacy unless you tell them that. That's your responsibility. That was my 15 minutes Ruby on Rails legacy application, aka the cake is the lie. Thank you. Questions? Yes?
So where do you take all those applications from the market?
What applications? The one with the low scores. Oh, those are just clients that are interested in our services. They just come to us. We don't you don't go looking for 1.5. You don't. Sorry? We had a code base from India, and well, it was okay. So I can't comment on that. All I'm saying is that don't call DHH. No, really, it's getting longer and longer, and the Raceway is not working for it's not scaling as when it comes to the scale of your code base. And I don't care about discussions. I never took the part in any discussion that DHH was involved in. So I don't know really how would that look like. I hope I will be able to do that soon. But I don't think we should think that it's his responsibility to tell us how to do our work. And we can get better at this. And there are some solutions out there which are not default for Rails, but since Rails is a great foundation for your application, you can include them very easily, like presenters, decorators, service objects, runners, stuff like this. This is so easy because Rails is a great foundation. So why not to? Okay, well, last question on the top on the right. I'm not using currently any other framework on the backend. That's one thing. And the other is you can get the wrong part, like the lie that it's easy to, because when you go to rubyonrails.com or org, whatever it is, it says a framework for easy web development and for programmer happiness. And that's true for the beginners. But to do a real product, you cannot be the beginner all the time. And you can get it wrong with any other framework which provides some solutions. So I'm using a framework in every project, but it's a one I constructed on top of the race, and it's just a framework of my thoughts about the project and my ideas how to do the project. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm not going to tell anybody that if I go wrong, that that was a fault of my framework. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.